How did you start down this journey? What was the origin of this story?
So I never really intended to I kind of fell into powerlifting. I like as a teenager, I had something called Sever's disease. So I basically didn't do any sport from like the age of 11 until 16.
I'm sorry, it's called
Sever's. It's
severs.
like very rare. It's genetic. It usually only affects males. So like my older brothers had it, and it's basically affects like when you're growing. It's to do with like the growth and like there's like movement of your feet causes like fractures and breakage in the heel bone.
Oh my goodness.
So basically, every time I would go through a growth spurt, I would end up with fractures. And for me, because it wasn't diagnosed like when I first had heel pain,
Mhm.
I was kind of just like, because obviously it's super rare and it's
How
also
old were you when this first came on?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, right when you
So
grow. Yeah.
like I ended up with like one fracture that turned into a break, and then I was walking around on the other foot with crutches, and then eventually that one broke
Oh
too.
my
So I basically
gosh.
spent like 11 to 16 um not being able to do any sport because I would like have both my legs in plaster, the bone would heal, and then I would like walk around for 2 to 3 weeks and then they just break again.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I was like, yeah, like I looking back, like I wasn't like sad about it because it just was what it was. And like I always grew up as like you just deal with things as you go along. So I was never like sad about it, just but I missed out on sports.
Mhm.
So by the time like I went to so we in the UK we call college is like the period of time after you go to high school before you go to university.
Mm.
So I know you guys call it college is like university for
Is
us.
university, yeah.
So I like had a lot of studying to catch up on, so I didn't pick up sports then either. And by the time I went to university at 18, I'd basically done no sports. And I was like, I don't want to have any problems with my bone density as I grow older, because I know that like some of my older uncles like couldn't even go up ladders and stuff because of their bone density in their heels. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do? One, to actually be fitter and stronger and like more athletic because I missed out so much. But two, kind of improve my bone density. So I'd like done a lot of my own research and realized that if you can load a bone end to end, it helps with improving the density. So that's kind of like why I went into the compound lifts first. Um, and I was just like really good at them. I think because I'm quite short, I have short limbs, like naturally I'm kind of built for moving a lot of weight, I guess, in those movements.
Yeah.
So like when you're good at something, it makes it easier to like love so much more. So like I made progress very quickly. But like I did actually like try out a few sports at that age. Like I played rugby for the University of St Andrews. That's where me and Tom met. So that's where I studied. And I played korfball, which is like Dutch basketball. The net's much higher. So like
Fun.
I inputted it into sports at that point in time. So I didn't see it as a sport. Like I saw lifting as like something to complement everything else.
Hmm. Hmm.
But then like after university, I was like, like, I mean, I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. Like they play sport at college and then they leave and they're not playing it anymore. So they look for something to kind of fulfill that. And then I realized that like powerlifting competing was a thing.
Hmm.
So I did my first competition when I was like 23, which is probably kind of old in sports, but in powerlifting, I guess age doesn't really matter so much as other sports. Like, people lift into like their 70s and 80s even.
But
So
also it's interesting because of the amount of time it takes for progression, muscle density,
mhm.
strength. We're talking usually decades of time before somebody becomes a truly mature powerlifting
Yeah, yeah,
athlete
yeah.
versus somebody in sports, you not
You
being
can make
able.
progress quite
Yeah,
quickly. Yeah,
exactly. And a lot of people with sports, they get into it a lot earlier in life.
yeah,
That way they can learn that sort of mechanics easier because you're a kid,
yeah.
but you can't really power lift as a kid. I mean, you can
No.
start, but you're not going to be impressive until you get a little bit older,
Oh, for
have the
sure.
years
Like,
doing it.
I think seeing like a lot of the pro like athletes that I compete against, like you've got to have been doing it for at least 10 to 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are
Mm-hmm.
like some people coming in that are much younger that are just like blowing numbers out of the water. But for the people that I've seen that last the longest and compete for long periods of time and see like the biggest amount of progress and really push their ceiling, like you've got to be doing it for like a decent amount of years.
Yeah.
So
And how
like
long have you been doing it start to finish professionally speaking?
so I started lifting when I was 19. I didn't compete till I was 23. I got good quite quickly at that point, but like really from a professional standpoint, probably like 2018, 2019 till
Oh,
now.
okay.
But
Wow.
like
Yeah.
I've had like a period of time where I didn't compete, like a good 2 years in that period, just from an injury. So
Gotcha. What was it? The injury?
I broke one of my vertebrae.
Oh my
So
Wow.
gosh.
it was a big
Under
injury.
the bar?
Actually, yeah, well, I did it originally deadlifting. Like I fractured I fractured it, but it was a hairline fracture and it didn't get picked up. And I basically went through like 3 years of just pain, and it would get worse and worse and worse. And then I was like at my peak in 2022. I broke my first all-time world record, and like prepping for that meet was like I was just in pain constantly. And I saw so many specialists, and basically everyone just kept telling me that I would be in pain as long as I carried on powerlifting. And I was like, okay, so I kind of just got used to it, and it got worse so gradually that like
Yeah.
it wasn't. Yeah, like I feel like you just get used to stuff, and then like
Sometimes that's the worst kind of pain.
yeah,
The gradual, never
Um,
stopping, never ceasing dull pain.
and like also you wouldn't think you would have such a serious injury if you're breaking all-time world records. Like I was like, I know it's bad, but like I'm still capable of like my absolute best. Like I'm lifting a lot of weight, so there's no way like they,
Wow.
specialists must be right. Like I'm just going to be in pain as long as I am pushing the ceiling. And I was like, I'm not going to be pushing it at this level forever. So like I'll just be a bit. I now when I look back, I'm like, it sounds ridiculous, and I'm much more of a mature athlete, and I know my body much better, and I know that like that's not okay.
Mhm.
So like I feel like from my story, I can kind of like help other people. Like you need to like take a step back and work through your injuries, because if I'd realized earlier what I'd actually done, I would have took a step back much sooner.
What
So-
current injury prevention do you implement
Oh,
currently?
yeah, like I'm very much all about like recovery from training. So I push my body really hard in training, but like I'm very aware of like how I feel. I think you learn that like the longer you do something, right? You be like hyper aware of like how well you're recovered from a session. So like I will like my recovery protocols, like I get massages done weekly. I do muscle activation therapy, like hot baths, sauna, like I like doing the like cold hot therapy. Like
Heck yeah.
so like when my training gets tougher, I'll do that. Like I only put that in when it's like extra tough.
Specifically the ice bath. Is that
yeah,
where you're
yeah. So like when I did it back home in the UK, I was literally using like a wheelie bin filled with like
Oh,
ounce of
nice.
water,
Nice.
and then I would use my bath. So like it's not always been like the most glamorous setup, but
Yeah.
like it works if you can get it going. But
So at 18, you started lifting, right?
Yeah.
And then you went into rugby.
Mhm.
So that was the progression. And you've still been dealing with this Sever's condition up
Yeah,
currently
so
right
like
now?
you generally like once you've stopped growing, it's not an issue anymore. So like
Okay.
I haven't had a problem with my heels. They were still sore for like a few years after I'd stopped growing, but I think lifting actually did improve my bone density.
Okay,
So
nice.
like I
Oh,
don't
I'm
get
sure.
any heel pain. Like even when I was in my early 20s and I would like do like waitressing jobs, and you're on your feet all day. Like
Mhm.
it would feel like walking on hot ash.
Oh, brutal.
Like it's the only way
Yeah.
to describe it, but like I literally haven't had that for years. So like
Nice.
I know that like I'm much better off now because of lifting. Like it's made me stronger, like it's given me my body like much better bone density. But I do think like it was like last year I found out that like the issue I was having with my back was still kind of related to that. So like now
To the Severs.
yeah, so like just with bone density in general. So like I see a doctor back in Columbus, Dr. Serrano, and he's been helping me. So I supplement around improving my bone density.
So going back in time, what advice would you give your 12-year-old self to help like go through that period of time of Severs? Is there a diet change? Is there mobility? Is there anything, or was it kind of like crap? I'm pretty screwed until I'm 18.
I mean, I didn't know it was going to last that long, right? Like
Yeah.
at that point there wasn't a lot of research on it, and there wasn't much known about it. And because some people had it and it wasn't so bad, but some people did, and like it's hard to know. But like looking back, like I think I dealt with it well. Like
That's good.
I never got sad about it. Like, and I think I've had this attitude my whole life. Like you just deal with what's in front of you. Like focus on what you can still do, not what you can't. So like I don't look back and think, I mean, I'm here where I am today because of that also. Like I might never have picked up powerlifting
Yeah.
if it hadn't been for that. So like I feel like bad things happen, but like they put you where you're supposed to be, and like they challenge you as a person. So I feel like mentally, like I'm prepared to be at like the top of a sport and be in like high stress situations because of things like that. So
Awesome.
like I guess my advice to myself would just be like just stick with it, because it always like it'll work out.
Awesome.
Like as long as you just work hard.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
And you said you set your world record with a
Yeah,
hair
so-
fractured back?
basically that I originally injured it in 2019. So between 2019 and 2022, when I broke that all-time world record, I was like, I think I did 3 or 4 competitions in that period of time, and it just gradually got worse. So by the time in 2020, like early 2022, it was the Ghost Clash in Miami. So I went, that was like my first big pro in the US. So like I came to the US to do like the biggest competitions, and all the best powerlifters are over here. So I was like, I want to come over here and compete against everyone. So I came to that one and I won the whole thing.
Heck yeah.
So like it was sort of just like, who are you? Everyone was like, where'd you come from?
On the first go too.
Yeah,
That's
so,
awesome.
Like at that point, I'd had to pull back my training. So I was only training every 5th day because it would take me that long to recover because of my back. So like the training was tough. I would like be, pushing heavy numbers on all 3, and then it would take me like 4 days to recover, and then I could train again. So like
goodness.
I'd adapted to the issue where in reality I should have been fixing it, but I obviously didn't realize how bad it was.
And none of the doctors that you saw told you that?
No. So like healthcare is a bit different in the UK. So like I was still working, I'm still training. So they were like, if you're doing that, you're fine.
Seriously?
Yeah. And then like I had some images done and they were like clearly overlooked because when I took those images and brought them to doctors here, that's when I realized. They were like, oh, like what?
That's what I was wondering. Did they give you an MRI? They had to.
Yeah,
someone had
so
to have seen. That's not something you typically
I've
miss.
had like 3 different MRIs and like
Crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
It gradually got worse, but it
I'll
was there
say.
from the beginning. Yeah.
Well, anything, I mean, if you're loading up, I mean, squat, bench, dead, that's all on your, which vertebrae was it? Where was it? I assume it's lumbar.
L5.
Yeah. I was about to say.
So like
probably
what actually ended up happening, like there was so much damage to the vertebra, the bone, that the disc below burst up into the space where the bone was meant to be. So like the nucleus of that disc completely collapsed. So like a lot of the issues
the
I
nerves
was having
compress and
was
everything
like from the disc.
Yeah.
So like that just wasn't functioning. It obviously like completely squashed down. It was like basically where the bone was meant to be.
Did you have to have surgery for this?
No.
How did you
So, like,
reverse this?
You can't like have surgery just to fix. I mean, you can for the disc, but because of the damage to my bone, I basically just had to keep my back straight for months until it healed.
So they put you in a brace.
Well, I wasn't in like a hard brace, but I had like a soft brace, and then at night I would take it off and just.
And it was just basically you need to rest. That was the protocol they gave you.
So they say I ended up seeing Stuart McGill. He's like a back specialist.
The name, sounds familiar. Yeah.
But then I ended up working like personally with one of his, like, I guess proteges, like one of the guys that like works under him, because he actually had this exact same injury as me. And I saw this, like when I actually realized, like I'd seen my own images, and I went to this talk at the Swiss Symposium in 2023. Yeah. And I went to his Brian Carroll is his name. And he was like a very good powerlifter, set lots of records. And so I went to his talk, and he'd had the exact same injury as me, and his images on the screen during his talk, I was like, they look like mine. And I was like, and he was talking about how serious of an injury it was and how he had to take all this time off. And he was talking about how he managed to come back to powerlifting and like go beyond what he'd done before. But basically he's the only one that's ever recovered from that injury.
Wow.
So I'm sitting in this talk like, like, and I was like, it's all.
Did you go up to him afterwards and bring this up to him? I mean,
I
you
went
had
to speak to him afterwards, and I was like, these are all the problems I've been having. Like at this point, this is like 8 months after I'd broke that all-time world record, and over that time, like it gradually got worse to where like it was affecting my lower body. So like even when I sat down, like my body would shake. So like my whole body was just like shut down. Like I couldn't do most things in the gym, but like I also couldn't do most things in life. Like. Just sitting down, standing up, like I couldn't pick up my dogs properly. Like, so I'd got to the point where I was like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. Like, I've been turned away by lots of people. So when I saw his talk, I was like, I need to go speak to him. So I found him afterwards, and I was like, I showed him my images, and he was like, you need to stop lifting. Like, you need to stop trying to go around it, and you need to take time off. And I was like, okay.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing to hear as an athlete.
Yeah, because I was still lined up for quite a few meets, but like I was just trying to work around it. And it's a hard thing to hear, because he was like, you might never lift again. And then I also saw
he said this to you in that setting.
So like
he might not lift again.
He was with Stuart McGill, and he was like, yeah, well, Brian was 1 in a million, so you're probably never going to powerlift again.
You
You
may
need to
not.
like get used to that. And I was like, well, if Brian could do it, I'm going to be 2 in a million. So like, I was just like, I'm going to listen to exactly what you tell me to do and like give it the time to heal. And I'm going to come back from
What
this.
was the time to heal?
So like I had to obviously take a complete step out of the gym, and for like 7 months, my life was super boring and restricted. I basically didn't leave my house because I couldn't even drive. Like I had to keep my back straight to allow it to heal. So like I couldn't sit, stand, lie for long periods. Like everything was regimented. So like even my sleep had to be less time because you couldn't stay in the same position for long periods of time.
Oh, that sounds
So like
awful.
all of the regimented routine of like my lifting, my recovery, like I know I'm good at doing stuff when I need to, but like then I had to apply it to like everything that you don't normally think about, like in that much detail.
Like
so like
sitting and
I would
sleeping
start
and
off by like walking for 5 minutes, and over time that built up to like 2 hours over like several months. Um, and like I wasn't allowed to like pick anything up, like just like obviously like your fork and stuff, but like even a full glass, like it's
oh
too heavy.
my
Wow.
gosh.
So like I couldn't walk my dogs, I couldn't drive, so I couldn't go anywhere. So like at that point I was, because I'm a coach as well, so like I was working with people in person, so I had to stop that completely because, well, one, I couldn't drive to my gym,
and you can't move
and
weights around
two,
for
like I
clients
can't
or
do
anything.
anything for anyone because I'm just like a robot.
Yeah.
So it was hard because I just basically like had to go completely online. Like I was doing a lot of online coaching anyway, but like even my desk that I worked at, I had to get one that I could move up and down because I would sit for a bit and then I'd stand for a bit,
Stand,
and I'd sit
yeah.
for a bit and I'd stand for a bit, and like I would do little walks throughout the day just to like keep blood flow. And so then like I did that for a few months, and then I started adding in things like TRX rows and some push-ups, and I like was doing some core work but like really, you know, restricted stuff.
Yeah.
And then like it was just super gradual. Like I got to the point where I was doing like 100 push-ups a day, and like
Really?
you know,
It's
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
No matter
Like,
if you're injured or not.
the thing that I was like most concerned about was like, I'm gonna lose all this muscle that I've literally spent like 10 years building.
Yeah.
Like when you do nothing, like it's obviously just gonna disappear. So like I didn't want to lose weight, so I was eating loads still. So I actually ended up putting on loads of weight.
Yeah.
So like when I came back to lifting, I was like, I'm like at the bottom. I've got to like completely improve my body composition. I need to put all this muscle back on, lose all this fat, and get stronger.
And when you stepped in the gym, I imagine the exercises you chose were very regimented too.
Oh yeah, like it's
Reverse
like,
hyper or something like that.
so I actually didn't do those. I did those a lot when I was like initially trying to recover my back, but that was like too much movement. So even when I went back to training, like I was still keeping my back like straight.
So
like I didn't do any lower body stuff for like the first 3 months. It was all like upper body, like some back work. I would do like carries, like suitcase carries to challenge my core, and like any upper body stuff I would have to make it more difficult by like I would do dumbbell presses, but I would hold one while I press the other, and like eventually I moved on to doing a bar, but I would do floor press because I physically couldn't get into the position on bench press.
yeah, where you
obviously.
arch the back and all that.
So like
of...
it was, even when I went back to training, it was like super regimented.
Did you do anything in the swimming pool?
So walking.
Okay.
Yeah.
In
So,
the
like,
water.
I think like that's actually one of the best things because you get like resistance from the water, but like also a bit of support. So it's not. So I did a lot of just walking, like walk for 30 minutes in the pool.
I wish you would have been here. That's one of the tenets of what we're going to be doing back there.
Yeah.
Inside of that, you have the
Amazing.
water treadmill,
It's
the water
really,
stationary bike.
Really good like way to exercise. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably one of those
when
things.
you
that's,
first
like,
started
overlooked.
working out, were you implementing the sauna as well? For
yeah, so like heat's always a good thing. Like
Yeah.
I've always used baths just because that's like super easy, and then
Yeah.
sauna just because, you know, like when I couldn't drive,
Yeah.
I couldn't go anywhere, so I just use what's in my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, sauna is something I use, and I have always used because I think it's really great.
Was
for
stem
recovery.
cells ever advised for this injury by anyone?
Actually, no, but I do think looking back, that was something that maybe I could have done.
Okay. Worth a shot, right?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But no pun intended.
Expensive, but
Yeah.
but effective for sure.
Yeah.
Stem cells would
Yeah.
definitely have
So
not hurt.
I was using BPC 157 and TB 500, and I was like having Tom inject it right into my back, which is not the most
No.
comfortable thing.
I was going to say
when
this.
you've had back pain for several years, it just doesn't feel like a big deal.
Is it
so
localized that much? I mean, does it matter where it's injected?
It works better.
It worked better if you put it directly into
much better if it's localized.
Wow.
So it does work on a systemic point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Injectables way better than, I don't know, like people think that you can like do nasal spray but they just don't really work. Like,
they do. People think that they under the tongue
like
they'll do the spray and
like how much you get from that is so little compared to just actually injecting it into the site that you need it. So like any injury I've had, like I've had like partial tear of my quad, I've used it there. Like it doesn't replace the recovery protocol of like the things you would do in the gym and like keeping movement and blood flow and having work done, but it's just an added benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not like you just inject it and there's your recovery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I wouldn't say it's like something to lean on, but just like an addition.
Now that you're past all the injury phase, do you still use the water? Do you still use it for training in some ways? You do?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Just because, like, especially in the summer, like I love being in the pool. Like it's just a nice thing anyway. But like I still utilize it because, like, it kind of just takes all the pressure off your joints and like it's movement. Like I'm a big, I'm doing like 15,000 steps a day minimum every day. Like I'm all for walking, so I feel like it's the easiest and the best way to move and just recover from anything you're doing to your body. Like I'm beating myself up in the gym, like I'm training hard, and it's like it's like your best friend walking. So but like doing it in the pool is just like an added benefit, so any chance I get, like I will utilize that.
I love the progression but more so the regression that you can get with the water. Like you can take an activity like walking and make it even easier. It's hard to make walking easier, but if somebody's like,
you can in the
you
pool.
can. Yeah. For me, it was like a client with an ACL tear who just got off the operating table like last week and wants to walk.
Yeah.
She can't walk. She's supposed to be on crutches, but they're like, yeah, if you can find a pool with a water treadmill, you can do that, which is not easy to find, but it's definitely a very worthwhile thing if you can get it. Yeah. So have you seen, since you've gotten into this, because you've got such an amazing growth in fitness in general over the last 10 years, at least from what I've seen, women inside of this sport, has it become more popular in that amount of time?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Like when I first started lifting in the gym, there were no women in the weights room, and like I would get asked like, "Are you lost? Do you need help?" Like people always wanted to help me, like pick up my weights for me, or like like
really
at that point, even like
I don't think I gotta ask you that.
No, I mean it doesn't happen anymore, but I think at that point it was still super unusual. It's not that long ago, really. Like even women's fitness clothing wasn't really a thing at that point. So like
that's true.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like if you wanted a pair of leggings, like, or I guess I don't know if you call them tights here, but
leggings. Leggings, yeah.
Yeah, like that just was hard to come by. Whereas now, like they're everywhere.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like it's evolved so much in the last 10 years, and it's amazing to see because it just complements everything, like being in the weights room and being stronger, and like I can do everything for myself. I don't need help with anything, and that's like such an empowering thing. Like I'm strong enough to just like carry all the shopping if I want to, and you know, so like it's definitely just for everybody, just like a benefit.
I think everybody can get that sense of empowerment from the gym. I think that's something that if you're looking for a simple way to take back control over one aspect of your life, start there, because a lot of life is like you can't control. You can't control every single thing that happens at your job or with your family or whatever. But you can control whether or not you go to the gym. You can go in there and make sure you accomplish that one small mountain per day.
Yeah. I also like that the gym, like there's no emotion involved in weights and progress. Like if you work hard, you're going to see progress. So like you can apply that to pretty much everything. Like if you work hard at something, you're going to get better. And I feel like in the gym, that's just, you get like that direct feedback.
When you say there's no meaning it's like the input and the output.
The weights are not going to give anything back to you.
Oh, I see. I get it.
If you work hard, like you're going to see progress.
Yeah. Kind of no matter who you are.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I don't particularly like when I hear people make the argument that like they're the strange exception to the gym. Like they can't go, they shouldn't go, or they whatever.
It's for everybody. I feel like there's a place for everybody.
Yeah. Do you think women should train different than men?
I mean, honestly, from working with people over the last 10 years, women can train harder than men. They can push themselves harder. They can handle more intensity than men.
Really?
Yes.
And you do realize that, I mean, that's very, very contrary to what a lot of people think it'd say.
Yes, but I feel like from experience, it's true. Like they can handle more intense workouts and recover quicker than men in general.
Do you think there's a biological component to that?
Don't women have a higher pain threshold?
Yeah,
yes,
I think that's
sure.
probably why.
For childbirth, yeah.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I guess biologically, with higher threshold for pain, then you can push yourself harder and, push the intensity and it not feel as bad, I suppose.
I love hearing this. And I love hearing this from somebody who's actually done it. It's really annoying to hear this conversation get unpacked by some middle-aged male doctor who's telling his female client, like, no, you shouldn't train at this level, or you shouldn't contrast at this temperature.
Like and I'm not even going to say like, that's not me saying that like men can't train hard, because they can. Like, I feel like there's just a lot less difference than people think in terms of like how different we should train.
I think that's the correct message to have.
Yeah.
Because I've heard like it to where like women, I don't want to lift because I'll get bulky or, like that. And it's just like, no, you know how hard it is to get to that?
You know how hard it is to put on muscle?
Oh, that takes like 10 years. Seriously, so.
But like, I feel like that's the same message you can give to everyone. Like, it takes a lot of hard work and effort to like see physical changes. But like, I don't think there should be that many differences between the way women and men train. Like,
certainly not the way they actually lift weights. It's your
enjoy. And push yourself at it and see what happens.
Yeah. Not saying everybody has to train the same way, but our bodies are the same. I mean, a squat bench deadlift that I do and a squat bench deadlift that you do is going to do the same thing to the same muscle groups in our bodies. There's no difference. I also don't believe in the idea that women can't recover as well. I don't believe in that. I don't buy that. I've heard that. I don't like that.
No, I don't agree with that. No, I think I think it's like an individual difference rather than a like male versus female.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, you're right. Because there's definitely outliers. There's people on both sides of the gender spectrum that have problems recovering and problems training. Yeah. But I've yet to encounter a case of somebody who can exclude themselves from the weight room. Like, there's nobody with a true excuse as to why they can't go and lift weights, male or female.
No, I think there's definitely something for everybody.
And the minute you start thinking there might be, just find one of those guys or gals on Instagram with no legs that's in the gym, like doing deadlifts in the wheelchair, doing pull-ups. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm sorry you feel stressed by the gym, but she's in there doing pull-ups with a wheelchair attached to her waist. Like, you don't have a good reason. It's the best. Oh my word. And it just, again, it's all different individuals. I've seen people, I've seen like little people lifting weights now. You've got like power lifters that are like short people. You've got everybody, male, people that have handicaps, people that have physical and mental disabilities are finding improvements from the gym. Somebody recently, it was on Mark Bell's page. See if you can go to his page real quick, bud. But there was a discussion he was having with, oh man, the gentleman's name starts with a Z. I can't recall. He's a musician and a powerlifting coach. See if we go to Mark. So yeah, it should be his the second post in right there. That conversation, which we can't hear, but you can read it. He's saying that young people today have this desire to be an influencer. And he makes the statement that essentially of all the different spectrums of influencers, fitness influencers are the most powerful. Because unlike somebody from music or somebody from, an outside field, fitness hits everything. No matter what it is you're doing, no matter what your job is or your occupation or wherever you're at in life, fitness will improve it.
I mean, if you just think about that statement, right? Like if you're at the supermarket or at the store and you see someone that's like got some decent muscle, they look pretty ripped. Like you look at that person and have instant respect because you know that took a lot of hard work and effort to achieve that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's a very like visual, that's probably why, right? Like it's a very visual representation of hard work.
Also practicing what you preach, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot, that's a big component of it as well.
Yeah, it tells me a lot about your personality. Yes. In addition to your ability to conquer hard things, like I know you have dedication, I know you have the ability to actually show up, and I know you have the ability to endure delayed gratification, and that's a hard one.
Yeah, I feel like
you don't get anything
like
immediately.
Instant respect.
Yeah, and it may be slightly surface level, but again, I think that fitness in general goes across all walks of life. It's one of the only areas that probably goes across all walks of life, because you really can't say that kind of blanket statement uniform for a lot of other things. Yeah. But we're all the same in that regard. We all can get improvement through physical activity.
Yeah. I actually just think, like, when you're saying that, I was thinking, like, about all the people I train with, like our training crew. Like, it's such a diverse group of people. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody from all different walks of life, all different, like, career paths. Mm-hmm. But, like, we only ever talk about training, and that's what we all have in common. But, like, it just shows, like, it doesn't, we all have this, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't exclude. Mm-hmm. And it's also why I love having, discussions, especially in like a podcast setting. Yeah. I love talking with people both in and out of the fitness industry about fitness.
Yes.
Because it's just very rare you meet somebody that isn't at least a little bit interested in it, because I mean, you're talking about something that can improve your way of life, yes, no matter who you are. For sure. And that's really great. I love being in this industry for that reason. The people. And with you, I mean, because you've said you've done a lot of training both in person and online, all of that kind of work that you find yourself in. Where do you find the most gratification from your work with your clients?
I mean, just working with people in general. Like, I feel like in person, you always get that like little bit extra because you're seeing it in real time. But like, I get a lot of joy from helping people even online, and it's opened, like working online has opened up to allow me to work with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
Like all different countries, all different backgrounds. And then the thing that it has in common with working in people, you're just seeing people improve themselves and be better. So like, that's super rewarding. Like, I'm happy in my job every single day because I'm just helping people be better. And like, as a coach, like, it's not just what they're doing in the gym. Like, you're helping them navigate everything, like all life problems, like parenting, like they're running their business, like you're just helping them be better people. So although it kind of starts with like a training program, and like I'm looking at your training videos, or like I'm watching you lift, like it means so much more than that. I feel like anyone that coaches knows, like you're sort of like a therapist as well.
Yeah.
But like,
I say I wish I would have paid more attention during sports psychology. That one class where we all slept right through that. Like, I'm not going to need to know any of this crap.
It's probably the most important
one. It's probably the most important one. Yeah. You find yourself in, first of all, during training, at least in my experience, I mean, maybe 25% of the conversation is even about training. Almost all of it pertains to something else going on in their life. Yeah. Almost always. And you're lifting, but there's a beautiful match between the physicality of lifting, which a lot of your clients and my clients, the only time they're going to do that is if you're there.
Yeah.
There's a mesh that's so beautiful between the physical release of the lift and the emotional release of them being able to talk to you about their irritating husband, or how their kids are doing these things just so beautifully well. And those two things come together in a really unique way that I don't even think people get from clinical therapy, because you're not lifting, you're not doing anything.
No, it is very rewarding for sure.
And it helps people, like you said. Ultimately, that's why we got into this. It's why for me, I mean, online coaching for me, I'm extremely selective with it. I'm doing one, like really right now I'm only working with one person, and it's a person we had on here as a guest. It has to be someone I really, really take an interest in to do something like that, because I just thrive off that interpersonal connection with somebody.
It's much more challenging working with people online, because you're not like seeing the whole picture. You're just seeing what they send you. Mm-hmm. So like you have to like dig a little deeper and ask more questions. And like, obviously that doesn't apply to everyone. Some people are really forthcoming and like share everything. But like I have some clients that I'm like, hello, I've not heard from you all week. What's going on?
Right. Yeah.
So like it's a different challenge. But like, I know, like I've always really loved working with people in person. And like, I will always keep that aspect in. Like, working with people online has given me and Tom the ability to basically move country. Like, obviously we moved from the UK to the USA. Like, we would never have been able to do that had we not been in the online space. So like, we had, like, it's given us opportunities, so I'm super thankful for it. And like, just having that freedom, so like I will always keep it in, but like we will always look for the opportunities to work with people in person. So like running training events, doing seminars, like
heck yeah,
like doing like training camps at the gym, and like obviously being at Elite FTS, like we're in a really great place to do those, you know, just like have people come in one-on-one. So like I will never let that go, because it's just
absolutely
rewarding on like a little bit of a different level. So
what impact on powerlifting has Elite FTS had?
I mean, it's huge. Like I would say like obviously Elite FTS is all about educate. So their like slogan is educating and outfitting the best athletes in the world. So like they do outfit like a lot of big sports teams, gyms and stuff. But like in terms of the education side, it kind of started off as powerlifting just because that's where Dave's background came from.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was out of West Side. So like it's kind of got that like West Side following, I think. But like he has opened that like his world up a lot more, and it's less niche because of the podcast. So like he has guests from like all different backgrounds in the fitness industry. But like I think that's really important because even people that aren't in powerlifting, you can learn and apply stuff that they're saying to powerlifting. Like even though I compete in powerlifting and that kind of like where I started, like I work with people from all different backgrounds, like all types of athletes, and so like I mean, the good thing about powerlifting is like it makes up the basis, like the compound lifts make up the basis of like any training for anyone. So like, yeah, I actually forgot what the question was. I think I just went off on a tangent.
No, it's like, beautifully answered.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like it used to be more specific to powerlifting, but like the company now is like a lot more open, which I think is good because, you know,
I think Dave's expanded a lot more in recent years. And I've watched him since I was 15.
Amazing.
Like sincerely, in the beginning, it was really just the place to go for the best specialty bars was basically where I first found Elite FTS. I was with a guy who was all football and his whole gym was just Elite FTS. So that's how I first started. But really, I mean, a lot of the expansion I've seen has been through Table Talk, and I've seen Dave because a lot of times for a while it felt like kind of the same repetitive guest over and over again, where it was just powerlifting, but a big change and one that I really admire and love, it has been, I mean, him bringing on Tom was a perfect example of this, where I'm just like, okay, he's starting to get people that are taking a different approach. It's not all the exact same conjugate style coaching, powerlifting over and over again. He's getting guys in here who have different ideas and ideologies. And that really speaks a lot to the growth of the brand, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And I think for everybody, like you can learn from pretty much anybody. Like you shouldn't pigeonhole yourself into one niche either. I think it has been kind of a big change for them in general as like a training group, because obviously me and Tom do things very differently. Like I will occasionally use conjugate style training, but not very often with a lot of my clients. Like it's not like, I know that like a lot of people that train out of Elite FTS, like that is the way they train and that's the only way they've ever trained. So when we came in and like, obviously I'm a powerlifter as well. So like I compete at the top. They're just like, what are you doing? Like, it's really weird. Like, that's not going to work. And I'm like, well, it already does. So like, I think it's kind of opened up just some of the training crew's eyes as well. Like there are so many different ways to do something, but Dave's definitely like opened up more, especially like the last couple of years. And like you said, you can see
I've seen it.
with,
I can
like,
see
the
it.
Table Talk. And like he's getting people that are coming on from like a business point of view. Like I think he just wants to help educate in the fitness industry as a whole. So like that's like the direction he's going in, which I think is great. So
I completely agree, because there's so much more to this business than just the training style that you implement. There's so much more to it. There's marketing, there's business development, and and if you have trouble believing that, just talk to anybody who just got their certification and they're in their first 1 to 3 years of trying to run their own thing. It's not easy. No. There's a lot of difficulty that comes outside, nothing to do with the gym.
No.
But it's due to the fact that you're entering into a very saturated market.
Yes.
There's a ton of people that are doing exactly what you are claiming to do and have done it for 10 years longer.
Yeah. But I feel like there's space for everybody. And I think like we all look at things in a slightly different way. So even like you can even learn from people just coming in, you know, like
and
they might not have the experience, but like they just might have a different outlook on something. So I feel like there is still space. Like you're right, it's a very saturated market, but like you said, fitness is applicable to everybody in every walk of life, because it's really important that we look after our bodies. So like, and saying that, I come from like, I'm pushing a sport, but like in my job, I'm helping everyday people. I'm helping athletes. Like I just want to help people be the best version of themselves. So,
and you kind of gave the answer to the problem of a saturated market, and that's collaboration. That's getting with whatever coach you think is doing what you want to be doing and has done it for the last 10 to 15,
Learn
20 years. Why don't you go ask him, send him a DM or her a DM and ask her, hey, can can I shadow you? Can I do anything I can to just kind of be around what you're doing? I would love to do. That's what I did. That's what it takes to get.
That's exactly what me and Tom did. Like, I feel like this is the best way to learn. Reach out. Like, you've got nothing to lose. And like, most people are open to help. Like, people are reaching out to us now, which is kind of funny because it's like, oh, that's what we were doing.
It's a good feeling, right?
But like, I will always help. If someone asks, like, I'm going to help you, because I feel like we're all helping each other. And like, I learned from so many others that like, and I might learn from you. Like I said, you just never know.
You never know.
I think that like you have to have an open mind if you're coming into this industry and just try and learn from everybody and anybody.
Yeah. And it's a good thing because you're in an industry, you know, fitness is an industry where I think almost certainly people are going to be willing to help you. Yes. Like it's anybody who's, you know, unless they've got like self-made tattooed on their knuckles, they are probably going to be.
You're getting into it because you like helping people.
Yeah. You're exactly.
I feel like there's no other reason.
Exactly.
So it kind of goes.
Almost always you're in fitness because you love people and you want to help them. Yeah. That's usually the reason why you're in this. And there's outliers. I know there's always going to be crazies in every industry, but if you reach out to somebody in this industry, at least when I have, my experience has been just overwhelming positivity.
Yes.
People will bend over backwards to you in a way that they may not. Like, you know, you can't really say something like this for somebody in finance or somebody in real estate. Like, I don't know that your colleagues are going to do a friggin' thing for you. Like, I don't know that they will, but in this industry, I really have seen that
you're right.
It's a very, it's special in that way too.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
Yeah. When you had Bell's palsy, there's a lot of people who felt really bad for you.
That was one of the, I don't think we were you, did you see that? Any of that happened?
I don't think so.
That was a while. It was at least a year ago. Yeah. At least a year ago. Oh, I got Bell's palsy. Half my face shut off. Yeah. Oh, I was at the gas station. I just went, I'm like, oh shit. I thought I was having a stroke. Oh, it was the most.
That's really scary.
It's terrifying. It's the most terrifying, like 10 to 15 minutes of my whole life. And I'm lucky because my primary is like right up the road from here. And I call her in a total panic. I'm like, I'm having a stroke. It's happening right now. I got to get in. She's like, okay. Calm down. You're not having a stroke. There's no way. Just come in. And Bell's palsy. Just freak weird. I was stressed out of my mind at the time.
All jokes aside, the reaction from that was beautiful.
It was
many people.
It was
awesome.
Exactly. And that's a great, it was an overwhelming, because that's something where it's like, you can't hide it. Have your face shut off.
What are you going to do?
I got a podcast next week. I can't. And so at the time, my brother was doing video work for me. He's like, bro, I don't know if you're going to be okay hearing this, but I think you should just embrace it and get out in front of it. Tell people like what's going on. I'm like, okay, let's do it. But it was,
I love that true honesty.
It was more like, okay, let's do it.
That's so funny.
But overwhelming positivity from people. People sending me like their experiences with it, their family members who they know had it and how long they took to get over. Like Mark Bell, he like called me and talked to me for like 3 hours. And it was a real eye-opening experience for me when I really had this point just solidified for me that I'm in an unbelievable industry with people who truly do care about what everyone else is doing.
That's amazing. That's a crazy and amazing
story.
I think it's also a good lesson about being vulnerable on social media and putting it all out.
Being honest. Like, you don't need to hide anything.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. No, 100%. Is there any meet you're training for right now or specific numbers you're going for?
So I just did a meet like a week and a half ago.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it was in.
How'd it go?
I won.
Of course.
So like, I feel like this was like my first meet back.
Okay.
Like,
since after the.
So like, I competed twice last year, but the first one I was still barely training. I'd been training, I think, for like 6 or 7 months, but I was only training twice a week at that point still, because like when I did get back to the bar, I could only I could only load my spine a certain number of times a week. So that first meet I did was a pro meet because I'd signed up, and I went knowing I was going to come last, which most people were like, you're not going to be able to deal with that, but I wanted the experience on the platform. Competing at pro level is just like a different atmosphere. So I was like, I'm still going to go. I still like scored high enough to have been there. I just came in last place. But I feel like that I still learned so much from that competition. And then I competed again in November last year. And I was like, I'm like pretty much back to where I was, but like maybe like 90%. And I actually tore my quad at that competition.
Oh my gosh.
So that was going to be like back meet. But then I ended up tearing my quad on my first squat attempt.
You did it in competition, like in the oh gosh.
So like it only ended up being like a partial tear, and it was like right in the muscle belly on the outer part of my quad. I basically like came out of the bottom a bit too fast and like went up on one leg more than the other, and it just was not good.
Snap.
So but I still finished that meet. Like I basically just benched without really using my legs. I still got a PR on my bench. I benched 300 pounds without lots of leg
gosh. Wow.
I deadlifted still, but I just like twisted my feet out more, so I wasn't really using that part of my quad. I deadlifted less because of that, but that was like more variation. That was more of a local meet. So like I was like, I might as well just keep going if I can. Like I didn't get stressed or worried. It's like at that point I knew like I'm in a good space. Like I'm in a good headspace because everyone was like, oh, devastated for me. But I was like, it's fine. Just gonna roll with it. Like this is nothing compared to my back injury. So like, and I know what I need to do to like heal it. So it only took me like 6 weeks to heal.
Oh, nice.
The quad. And this is where you use the peptide. You said the BP 157, TB 500.
And then like I was doing like blood flow restriction training and
like compression sleeves and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, what do you use for the compression?
So like I had kind of like a small wrist wrap type thing to like tie off the top.
Yeah.
So, like
you ever done the sleeves? The actual full sleeves with the diameter.
I actually haven't used those.
Really? Oh, no. You should try them before you go.
Like that would have been a good thing. Like I have the compression boots for like recovery.
They're amazing.
So like I was using those like every day just to like get blood flow through the leg, and I was like having work done on it like regularly because with a muscle tear, like even as it heals, it's a lot tighter. So like, you have to do like more stretching, get more work done,
scraping and all that kind of stuff.
But like, it only took me like 6 weeks to heal it. So I then like did a full prep. I competed like a week and a half ago, and then I broke an overall time world record. So on the squat. So like I now hold the raw and the raw with wraps all-time world records in the 148 class. So
right now,
yes, I am
super happy with your last performance at the last meet a week ago.
Yeah, like I actually like because my training for this, I used a different method that I ever used before. So I used something called the progressive range of motion method. So over like a 14-week period, every other week, I would basically increase the range of motion a bit more.
Meaning you would like, go down lower?
Yeah,
or
so like I picked the weights that I wanted to hit at the meet. Like obviously they're not unreasonable weights, like ones that I know that I would be capable of by the end, at a peak point in time. And so then like, for example, with squat, I used 500 pounds. And then I basically, the first session, I like squatted down to a box that was really high. So I was just doing like this tiny bit of the movement. I think I've got some videos.
Yeah. I think I've seen this.
Are you training with a straight bar for the big three?
So for the squat, I was using a bow bar just because I was squatting.
Tell us where to stop, Naomi, on the page.
So is that one in the middle?
The one in the middle, right here.
There's like an example of a squat. This is like
Week
one of the
12.
last ones I did.
So that's a bow bar.
Yeah. So like the only reason
it's like a Duffalo bar.
Yeah. The only reason why I used a bow bar for that session was because I was squatting every week. So like in between, I would do technique work with lighter weight and do the full range of motion. But obviously, like having a lot of heavy range weight of motion in a bow bar position with a straight bar, like that's a lot of stress on your elbows. So like to avoid getting tendonitis over that 14-week period, I use the bow bar for the overload.
What percentage of range of motion are we looking at here? Like what is that?
That's like the second or the third to last session. So I basically went down to just the red box.
I see. Okay.
But when I got to the red box, like if you go up, so that's like a technique session. So
that's the same one.
Yeah. So if you go out and then go up, like one at the last session, so that one on the left below the picture of me.
This one right here.
So this was like
that's full.
This is me doing the very last like full range of motion session. So like I got rid of the box. I used a straight bar because I was super close to competition. And I actually ended up going above 500 pounds because it felt so good.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So like I don't know.
And you're doing this for 3 reps? Is that what this is? Am I watching a triple?
I ended up doing doubles with.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So
like I did the same thing with deadlift. Like if you want to go out, I can show you. Like,
all right.
I was using blocks. Like if you click on that,
look right
the
there,
one just below. Like, yeah. So like I did the same thing. I started off on like a really high box, and I was just deadlifting like.
And you just slowly make the box smaller.
Every other week, I would take a block away. So like it was a gradual increase of that range of motion.
Oh.
You know,
with
this is
the
the first
same
time
weight.
I've heard of this, by the way.
What's
It's
this
a-
called again?
Progressive range of motion. That's a really old method.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like
Progressive range of motion.
Yeah, so like I think I forget his name.
So rather
The guy
than
that,
changing
like,
the
basically started it, he like dug out the ground and like basically filled dirt
Really?
in the ground.
Oh,
do
wow.
it. So like he was just deadlifting in his garden and like
That's
started
great.
off, stood in a ditch, and then just filled it in a bit more. And next time was like a bit higher.
Interesting.
So like obviously I'm doing it in the gym with good equipment.
The
but
best
yeah, so,
equipment.
like,
The best equipment on the earth.
Yes. So like because it had been because of my injury, I wasn't used to like lifting heavy weight as much, and I wanted to bring myself back up kind of quickly into those heavier weights. So this was like a way of getting more confident mentally and physically with heavy weight gradually in a safe manner. So like I start off with a really tiny range of motion, then it just increases gradually over a like reasonable period of time. And then so that I'm still doing the full movement in between, like every other week, I would just do technique work with the full range. So like it was lighter, and obviously started off with quite high volume, and that like the volume would come down as the weight goes up.
That makes perfect sense.
So
I like that.
yeah,
I like
but
that.
because I mean, so like I had a great competition. I broke an all-time world record. I
Yeah.
won overall, but I think I trained too close to the competition because I wasn't as recovered on the day as I should have been. So I actually only hit like 95% of what I'm capable of. And like
But still won.
went from like it being super easy. So like the all-time world record squat, if you want to open it, you can watch it. It's like the one in the middle.
Right, this one?
No, that's the one I did in 2022.
This one?
Yeah, so like I think I put all of my lifts. So this was my opener, which is 475.
Wow.
And then 500 pounds, like it moved pretty quick.
Oh my god.
yeah.
So like I went up from that, but like basically all my second lifts looked quick. Like this was 285 on bench. So like I went up like a little bit on everything, and I basically just like had no drive on that day. Like I couldn't grind through anything. So I knew I wasn't recovered because stuff was like all or nothing. And like in powerlifting, you should be able to push a lift slow and handle that, but like I just didn't have that on the day. So like I'm back. Like this is like I'm at my like full strength again post back injury. And like I had a really good day. But yeah, like
Heck yeah.
I think because it was like a much more neurologically draining program than I've ever done before leading into a competition, I just didn't account for that at the end and give myself enough recovery time.
What would have been enough recovery time?
I think I needed like another 2 days. Like I
so
think,
close.
yeah. So the session the Tuesday, like about 2 weeks out. And then I benched heavy that Thursday. And like when I was doing that session, I was like, oh, my muscles feel tired. Like I felt awful. And I was like just benching the bar, like, I carried on with that training session. In reality, I should have been like, step back. Like, you're done.
Yeah. Do you mentioned massage, sauna, all that. Do you use all this stuff while you're doing this, while you're prepping for a meet?
Yes. So like I do all this stuff more when I'm prepping for a meet because it's the most stressful training that I will ever do. So like in my off season, like I will train more like a bodybuilder. I don't really load my spine with any heavy weight. So like I will then like implement and add those things back in like a little bit before. Like a peaking program for me will last like somewhere between 12 and 16 weeks. That's when I like introduce those lifts back in. Like not necessarily with a straight bar straight away, but like some form of that movement. And then like outside of that, in like off season, I will do like more like bodybuilding style, like athletic style.
How long
training.
is off season? Like you just did a meet.
So like I just did a meet.
Long?
So like I will train more like a bodybuilder, or like at the moment I'm actually doing more like Olympic style training, athlete style training. So I'm doing like a lot of like jumps, sled, sprints. And then like I'll probably spend a couple of months doing more bodybuilding type stuff to kind of bring up muscle size. I will do that now for like the whole summer. Okay. Like that different style.
So for like next 3 to 4 months type of thing.
Okay.
Got it.
And then I'm competing again in November, so I'll probably start training more like a traditional powerlifter, like 3 months before.
Nice.
Yeah. So
it sounds like we train in a really similar way. I just don't do meets.
Yes.
Seriously, like that's like I'll have a peak mesocycle every 3 or 4 mesocycles where I'll throw something
like
in where I'm going to
peaking, right?
yeah, I'll do something where I'm going to lift really heavy, like on for 1 month.
So it's probably similar.
But it's just I do everything you're talking about. I just don't do the meets. That's really the difference.
But yeah, in terms of like recovery stuff, like I do it all year, but like I'll do it with more intent and more often when I'm doing the heavier trainings. Like I'll get a massage every single week. I'll do like muscle activation every single week. Like I'll be going to the sauna every single week. Like I might just do that like every other or every third week in my off season. So like those things are still there, just to a lesser intensity. And things like cold hot therapy, like I'll put those in when it's like super tough training. So I'll do those like after my really heavy training sessions, because it like it wipes me out. I don't know about you, but like in a good way. Like I'll do it later in the day because I know that after I'm just like
go right to bed.
Yeah.
So
it's perfect to do at nighttime. But yeah, so like my like recovery is just more intense when the training is more intense. So it's sort of like matches.
Hey, you should try hyperbaric.
I would love to. I feel like that, would probably make a big difference.
Oh, if you could figure out a way to spend the night in one, that's like
that's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. I try to sleep in there like once a week. Wow. Like I'll try to go spend.
You must feel so good. I did my last heavy squat good after like the next
It's like extending a 1 hour nap into 8. So if you spend 7 hours sleeping there all night, you can imagine what that does.
Yes.
Like for the whole rest of that next day. You just feel great.
That's amazing. I feel like that would be super helpful, like when I'm peaking, because I feel like I forget every time I compete that like by the end I'm just mentally wiped. Like I purposely will like overwork to get ahead of work because I know that like my mental capacity decreases and like I'm much slower. Like I can't do as much work like the closer I get. So yeah, like it's tough on your body and your mind.
Yeah,
but I love it. So.
What areas of powerlifting do you think are the most efficient and the least efficient? What areas are missing?
What do you mean in terms of like training?
I mean, in terms of like the training itself, because anytime anybody really focuses on one modality, it seems
that's
like
a problem. And I feel like that's a big mistake most powerlifters make. Like, you are not going to last very long if you're lifting heavy all year round. Like I can tell you that now. I know a lot of people that train that way, but like they'll come into the sport, they last 2-3 years and then they're out because they've just screwed up their body.
Injuries.
Yeah. Like just think how much stress that is on you from a neurological standpoint all the time, on your joints. Like, I mean, I think you have to put in other modalities because you should still, I feel like even though powerlifting is like a niche part of the sport, you should still treat yourself like an athlete, and every athlete changes up how they train throughout the year based on what they're doing. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing people miss, is that they think I'm a powerlifter so I must have to train squat, bench, deadlift all the time, but in reality you really don't, and actually you're going to hold yourself back if you're just constantly trying to train heavy.
It's not just powerlifting. Anytime anybody finds a niche, they almost always leave a lot out on the board. If they're a CrossFit athlete, if they're a open bodybuilder competitor, if they're missing a lot of crucial components that the other modalities would offer you.
I think probably the biggest one I see is just like having a good like cardiovascular system, because like if you're not doing enough like cardio and challenging yourself, not just like walking but like doing HIIT training and like when you like, for me, like as like a powerlifter, and I see this in other powerlifters, if you don't do enough of that stuff, by the time you get to like your heavier weights, like you're getting gassed doing like not very much, and so like your recovery is also going to suffer. So like it's
just your overall health, your respiratory system, your cardiovascular system is not meant to be anemic while the whole rest of you grows like the Hulk. Like it's not a healthy existence when you see that. When you see somebody that just doesn't, they're like, oh yeah, I do cardio, I just lift weights fast. I'm like, no, you should probably do something that's specific.
I actually can't stand that when people say that.
It's like someone that skips leg day.
No, really.
Leg day is the best.
It really is. 100%.
Yes, it is.
How could you miss that?
I don't know how people. You sore from yesterday?
Oh,
What
My
did you do?
hamstrings cramped up in the middle of the night, dude.
We did.
Oh, it was bad.
Have you ever seen the Hyper Pro? It's a freak athlete. It's called the Hyper Pro. See if you can pull that up, bud. It's this machine that it's really, really popular right now.
Do we fall? I'm sure we fall.
Yeah, freak athlete. Just type in freak athlete. The machine itself does so many different movement patterns, but the one that I love the most for it is it's got a really, really good progression for the Nordic curls.
And like most people cannot do those correctly.
No,
they're so hard.
Myself included. I can't go. No. But freak athlete.
I typed it in. I didn't see it. Freak athlete.
It's not. No. Go to open search. Okay. Not our following.
We'll do.
Yeah. And it's gonna be there.
Right there.
Yeah, their first pin, or go to their second one. Their second pin post. So this machine.
You can do a bunch of stuff.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Oh,
yeah, it's awesome.
So those things are what killed me yesterday.
Yeah. And you see you've got back extension, you've got a whole litany of different movement patterns you can do from this one machine. And they've done a really good job at advertising for the home gym community, obviously.
Yeah.
This is a very compact, but for the Nordic curls, the ways in which you can start, you can start with it literally at like 50 degrees where you're barely flexing.
Really approachable.
Yeah. And when we did like a giant, like, okay, 10 reps here, 10 reps here, 10 reps here, 10 reps here, and you're trashed by the end of that.
Why you get
then you wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's true.
I tried to walk to the bathroom. I was like, man.
Getting hamstring cramp is probably the worst.
Yeah. In the middle of the night? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's the absolute worst.
Squeeze your quads.
Oh, but yeah, it's exercises like that I think a lot of times people neglect. They don't do the types of accessory movements that they need to be doing to.
If you can't just move well, how can you expect to move heavyweight well?
Yeah.
Like I know so many powerlifters that like they're lifting a lot of weight, but you ask them to do simple stuff and they can't.
They can't touch their
do it. And I'm like, think how much better you'd be if you could do those things too. So I'm sure it's the same in like every sport.
A beautiful way to really just sort of, I love testing where people are at is I ask someone, okay, go on a hike.
I love hiking.
Can you go up?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Are you gonna get out of breath going up a hill?
Oh my word. And it's like the bane of the big guy. Like the big guy syndrome going up a mountain, like big dudes, huge, massive monsters that can deadlift 1,000 pounds. But if I ask you to just huff it up that hill, you'll die. Like, and that shows me that you're imbalanced. That shows me you don't have a good cardiovascular routine.
No. And like that you're just going to suffer everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that powerlifting did start out as like, that was how it was seen, like big, massive men.
Yeah.
But like now, like if you look at all the top athletes, they're like shredded. Mm-hmm. Like they're moving heavyweight, but like they're ripped, super lean, like
sprinting on the assault air runner. Like they're doing,
they're just good at everything.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's transitioned to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad.
Mm-hmm. And I think like for just longevity and health, like obviously if you do any sport and you push it to its limit, it's not, let's be honest, it's not healthy because you're pushing your body like beyond what's like you could be capable of. Like you're pushing a ceiling.
Yeah.
But you still need to be like looking after yourself for longevity as well. And like everything will improve if you're like looking after every aspect of fitness.
And acknowledging that the ceiling even exists. That's half the problem I see with a lot of high level athletes too. They don't want to acknowledge that there even is a ceiling. Like whatever the ceiling is, I can always raise it higher. No, at some point you're going to have to acknowledge that that's it. Like you've pushed your morphology as far as you can. You've pushed your body. Like that's it. That's the heaviest you will ever deadlift. Yeah. The end.
I feel like you could probably say that to any athlete. There's never like I feel like leaving is probably the most difficult.
Oh yeah.
Like,
extremely
when
hard.
It's the right time to leave. Like you don't want to leave completely broken.
No, you want to have a good exit strategy. You want to have the ability to enjoy life after your sport is done. Yes. The cool thing about lifting is that it's not like you ever have to truly leave.
Oh, like I will always lift. But like I won't like, I've only got so many years competing at like pro level.
Maybe. You ever seen Rudy Cudlev? He still competes. The man's like 76, 77 years old.
I think you can compete forever in powerlifting, but can you compete
at the high level?
At the highest level?
Yeah.
Forever.
I don't know that I would say yes or no. I don't know because I
think no, because it's like any sport. Like if you're pushing to your absolute maximum and like you're lifting with the strongest people in the world, that I feel like there's only so long you can do that for.
Yeah. But you do, as you get older, you would get into a new age category. No, I mean, again, thinking in terms of Rudy, I mean, the man is in his mid 70s holding records for his division because guess what?
Impressive.
There aren't 70-year-olds that can do what he does. Like heavier numbers than anybody else in this room at the age of 78 or something like that. See if you can find him by what his
bone density. They tested it.
Yeah,
it's like 3 times more than
it's like a 28-year-old's bone density. Oh, Rudy.
Like
if you type in Rudy, there he is right there. Yeah, Rudy Cudlip. We're gonna have a time finding his numbers.
I feel like this is good representation that you can powerlift at any age.
Yes.
He didn't start till he was in his 30s or something.
Like
he came
really
off the couch one day and was like, I want to be a powerlifter.
Yeah.
And then just stuck with it for the next 40 years. And he was 75.
That's so cool.
But he's again, as far as I know, he still holds the records in his age division and has never been beaten. Nobody has ever come at him in his division and taken those numbers from him. So it is very unique because of the implementation of the age categories. You could compete in powerlifting if you did it right.
Forever. You could.
If you did it right. But again, that's a big if. You can't stop. You just can't go so hard that you stay injured and never recover. You have to be able to find that balance, and that's not easy.
No. But I think that goes hand in hand with making sure that you're changing up your training modalities throughout the year.
Yeah. Do you find more people that you work with struggle with their training or struggle with their diet?
I would say diet.
Probably diet.
Because of the society we live in, there's so much emphasis on food everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the stuff that's just available isn't good food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more prevalent in the US than it was in the UK, but we have a very similar
is it better in the UK?
Even
food?
If you think about when we socialize and when we have events, it's the food's always at the center of it. So that's a challenge because if you've got someone that wants to achieve I feel like that's where most people struggle just because of our current society.
I completely agree with you.
I also feel like the training and the gym now, there is so much it's so much more prevalent than it used to be, and so many more people are doing it. So I feel like eventually that will also happen with nutrition. We're focusing on looking after our bodies rather than just enjoying food. It's a fuel, but we don't see it as a fuel. So I think there's a big disconnect between it's all about just enjoyment,
and it's not. It's the relationship with food people have to adjust.
Yeah, so I think that's for sure people's biggest challenge just because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think conceptually it's a lot easier to explain proper diet than it is training. People go into training, and I honestly, I don't fault people for
complicated.
It's complicated. Training is very complicated. Yeah, and everything has its own technique and its own form and a progression and a regression and all of this stuff. But diet,
it's simple.
Most people know how to eat right.
Yes,
most people know how to eat right. If you literally just put items on a screen, this or that, and just ask people to choose. Most people could, in their brain, choose which one they would know is healthier. But you're right. There's an entire societal integration of, okay, well, it's here. It's readily available. I'll eat it. Yeah, I'll go to the drive-thru. I don't feel like cooking. I don't want to prep. That's where people fall up.
I do also think that there's a big emotional attachment to food.
Oh, 100%.
That most people have a problem with. And it's just, I think it's starting to improve, but it's definitely the biggest roadblock.
A lot easier to eat than it is to go to the gym. A lot easier to get your comfort. And here's, I'll get my emotional comfort from a heavy lift. When it's done, I feel so much better no matter what it is.
But it's much more effort.
You had to earn it. Your brain is a withholding asshole. It's got all the chemicals to make you happy, dopamine, norepinephrine, but it's okay, go for a run.
Yeah.
And now I feel better.
I also think our society is very everything is quick. You can get anything delivered straight away. You can go on and you get instant gratification from videos. The way social media has gone, everything is so
quick.
Yes. So that's what people have gotten used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you get that with food, quick,
and you don't get that with the gym. You don't get anything quick.
Yeah, it's slow.
Everything's slow, and it's lifelong, and it's painful while you're doing it too. If you eat a piece of pizza, that's not painful, and that's quick. It's instant, and it's I feel better already. I don't even whatever it was bothering me 10 seconds ago. I'm not thinking about it, but it's obviously a trap.
We're seeing shifts now, with even just drinking alcohol. Like more and more people are giving it up. But like think back 5 years ago. I've noticed that too. Like I know in the UK there's a very big drinking culture, especially like when you go to university, everybody goes out and gets drunk. Like why is that a normal thing? Because when you really think about it, like it's just a poison. Like and it's also you're like basically becoming inebriated. Like, you're not being yourself.
Yeah. Making very bad decisions.
Right. Like, so then there's like, then you've got to look at like behavior. Like, why do you not feel comfortable just being like, people need it to feel like they can be themselves. So like, I feel like that's already shifted quite a lot. Like more and more people are like saying no to alcohol now. Like I haven't drank, like I drank when I was at university and like fell into that like trap of like, you know, everybody does it. So you go out drinking and you go to clubs, but like I haven't drank now in like 13 years. Like
that's outstanding. That's great.
Do you think that's,
and I don't even see it as a big deal, but like when I go to like family event, like it's not difficult for me now because it's just not something I do and I don't enjoy it. But like family events, everybody's drinking and like a lot of my friends like don't drink, so that's easier. Like especially when you're in like a gym environment, like it's more common. But yeah, I think more and more people are now kind of giving it up and seeing like, well, why are we doing this? Like, what do you actually get from it? Like, it's not good for you. Like, you shouldn't need it to feel like you could be yourself. But I mean, it's still like a big thing, isn't it? Like bars, pubs, like it's a social thing, like with food. Why do we need that to be social? Like, I always encourage clients to like, you know, find like release by going out and doing active things, like go hiking with your friends. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be evolved around food and alcohol.
I just wonder if it's because like, and I've seen the same thing, but is it because I'm getting older and like we've gone through all that before and it's like we're over it and we've been through that, but or is it like is the younger generation now starting to turn away from, you know, the binge drinking, the college drinking, going out every night?
Me and Chris are completely not out, like we don't drink alcohol at all, you know, and he's 25, I'm 25, and all our friend group is like, nah.
Yeah, I think it's more common.
We'd rather than go to the bar, we'd rather get together and go to play pickleball.
Yeah.
Truly.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So like there are already some big shifts. Like you're doing something active that's going to be good for you, and you've put the social emphasis on something healthy.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that's gonna eventually change with nutrition, but it's tough when all the biggest companies are making money off of bad food. Quick fast food, like,
and it's tough when your entire friend group is used to that kind of behavior. If you've been with a friend group that drinks or, you know, doesn't care about what they
there's
eat.
plenty of other awesome friends to make.
That sucks. That sucks. That sucks where somebody's like, oh, just give up your friends, man. Get new ones. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. But sometimes, as blunt and awful as that sounds, sometimes you have to. I think everybody here has had to do that. You've had to cut people out of your life.
You need to be around people that
what happened for me was like I started surrounding myself around people like here, and the other ones were like, wait, like it's like
you were the good influence.
They pulled back.
It happens. When I quit drinking, like those friends just fell off. And like I was like, all right, well, I didn't have to stop hanging out with them. They stopped hanging out with me.
100%.
It's a shame, but like, I mean,
it's organic.
If that's really going to happen, then you're probably better off without them.
100%. If like you said, if you need, and a lot of people do. Because the minute those people aren't drinking or they aren't high or they aren't, what do they say? They're like, oh, I have such bad social anxiety. I just can't. And
that's sad.
That's sad because, well, but you've never, whatever it is that's causing that, they're interlinked. You can't go out and get drunk to fix your social anxiety. You need to fix your social anxiety. Like you're making it worse. Whatever it is you're doing, you're kicking it down the road more by being unable to have a simple conversation that doesn't involve you getting inebriated in front of strangers. Like you need to be able to figure out a way to be a person.
It's wild. When you say it like that, it's like, why is it still happening? We're definitely changing. I think society's definitely going in the right direction.
I do too. I think there's always been, it's less and less fringe. Being healthy, being conscious of what you're eating and drinking, and especially when it comes to alcohol and I think now marijuana too. I think both of those things are now on a trajectory where it's not as okay as it once was, in particular weed, because I think marijuana for a long time fell into this weird category where people, I just did something on this, where people felt it was in and of itself harmless. Like, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to do anything to you unless you let it lead to other drugs. You're not going to have a problem with weed. You're fine. You can't get addicted. Who here heard that? You can't get addicted to marijuana. I don't prescribe, especially today with the way in which there's creating this synthetic marijuana, the THC levels, everything.
Super popular.
I do, and legal and everywhere. And I just don't prescribe to that anymore. And I did for a long time. I mean, I smoked weed. We smoked weed for a long time, but I don't believe that it is as harmless as they're leading it out to be.
It's not benign, no. And there's major peer-reviewed studies coming out where it affects your brain chemistry,
testosterone,
early onset Alzheimer's, dementia, all kinds of stuff like that in the future. So yeah, we didn't have those studies back in the day. We didn't know the stuff we know now.
Things need to be around for long enough for those bad things to happen for us to realize.
Wait till the studies come out on vape.
Seriously, I was just about to bring that up. The next thing to come out is the vapes. It's it has to be around. Something has to exist on this earth for at least a decade before anybody can tell you anything about it, before anybody can give you a real... And listen, I also acknowledge the fact that none of us are going to get out of this life alive. I mean, there are some activities that we can... Like, for me, it's like a cigar. Like, it's not healthy, I know, but you're only going to live once. I mean... Some of this stuff you should be able to get away with and have your vice. We've all got them, but it's just kind of picking.
It's not something that you're doing constantly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I like a cigar, because you smoke a cigar every month or two.
What are your habits? As long as they're all good. And then occasionally you do something that's not so good, I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Actually, that's not a bad way of putting it. You can have something in your life that is not necessarily fine, but the minute it becomes a habit where it's like, I have to do it, I can't not, that's a problem. Yeah. And it comes in all shapes and sizes. I mean, for crying out loud, shopping, sex, anything. It can be anything. We're so weird how human beings are just addicted to being addicted.
Any quick dopamine hit.
That's social media.
Oh my gosh, you're addicted to social media. People are so addicted. I'm addicted to social media. I'm addicted to social media. We need to
stop sending each other videos on social media.
Every day. I'll open my phone and there's 4 new messages. 3 of them are from him. 2 of them are about the government. It's just like,
a dude getting his head ran over by a car.
What?
Oh my gosh! Pull that up.
Should we?
Pull it up. No audio because we'll get flagged. But we got to show Naomi. This actually isn't bad. It's not bad. It's hilarious. This is one of the funniest things. Do this, but if you have it on IG, just like DM it to Strict Vision, and then you can pull it up on the screen.
You keep talking. I'm gonna find it.
I want to keep talking, but I don't want to give it away. I want her to just see it. There is social media in and of itself, just like a lot of these other things we've talked about, it has such a incredible value to it.
Oh, for sure, because it connects people.
This is a conversation as the result of social media.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. But it is also, leading to chemical depression. It's leading people to the misunderstanding about what everyone else's lives are about. Like, nah, man, her ass doesn't look like that. That's a filter. Everybody needs to take a step back and realize that if your phone is showing it to you, it's probably been altered in some way.
That's a whole conversation.
And that reel about their amazing life and how they're at Disneyland and every single day of their life seems like a dream. That's not real life. That's not. And if you can look at it through that lens and use it as a business tool, then it's great.
I think so. Yeah.
But again, I think it's younger people. I think younger people in general.
Well, that's all they know.
Isn't that weird? How old are you?
33.
There we go. We're the same age. Yay, 34. Yeah. So we remember, you and I, and you, of course, we remember a world before social media. We remember what the world was like.
When I was at university, someone would take pictures occasionally from their camera, but it wouldn't end up anywhere online. So you could be a bit reckless and no one would know about it. Whereas you can't step foot wrong now. And
no,
it's crazy.
I feel like Goob's page.
We had the opportunity.
Baller Busters or Goob, one of the two. We
had the opportunity to make mistakes and it go unseen, and it's not there forever.
Yep.
This is the greatest video. So this
is so dumb.
The guy doesn't know that he got into the car. So
he's
bad. Gonna tow the guy's car. So he doesn't know that he got in. This is a good perfect example. Oh no! Don't get under the car.
Luckily, he's okay. He's alive.
Oh, he's fine. He's screaming at him right now. He's like, "You're going to jail."
How did he survive?
I also what? The guy's gonna back into the building. What's he doing? What's the guy in the car doing?
Look at what's the lady doing?
The ladies, if you hear the audio, it's hilarious. The lady's trying to teach him how to escape because the guy was going to get towed, obviously, and he wasn't having any part of that. So look at the guy like,
this is way funny now. They were basically trying to avoid getting that.
Yeah, he didn't want to get towed. He didn't want to get towed, and then now he's got a way bigger problem. Now he's going to prison. Oh my God.
He doesn't have any marks on his head though.
He does. He does. Could you have the
it's on X.
It's okay. Well, the guy, he's fine.
So lucky.
But he got his face is scraped up.
How many people can say they got the head run over by a car and survive?
Wow. I mean, even a small car, it's still a car.
That's insane.
I'm blown away by that. I would have thought it would have, like graphic, but I would have thought it would have exploded his head. Like, I didn't think you could be okay just being run over by a car.
The quick speed of that, it wasn't like he just went. He was like,
my head would break the car.
Bit of a jaywalk here myself.
That's funny.
Well, Naomi, this was so much fun. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on and coming out and making the trip and everything. It was so much fun. If people want to get in touch with you or get coaching from you or questions about anything, where would they go?
Just to my Instagram.
Perfect.
Naomi.PhoenixPerformance.
Naomi.PhoenixPerformance.
Sweet.
All one word with a dot in the middle.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Awesome job.
Appreciate it.
Naomi, thank you so much. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Becoming the 1% podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So, Naomi Sheppard. In the house today, we're talking about female powerlifting. We're talking about recovery. We're talking about training modalities, how you can balance them and have a long career, especially if you are in the world of powerlifting and you're trying to consider ways in which to do it responsibly, ways in which to avoid injuries, do it late into your years, your 20s, your 30s, all the way up into your 70s. This is a podcast you're going to really enjoy. If you guys like it and you want to see other episodes just like it, you're going to want to click right